psychic wonders and spiritual delight will unveil the mysteries in the light. Tune your senses, sharpen your mind. Feel the energy, let your soul unwind. Tarot cards and angels' wings. Sound healing makes your spirit sing. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days. Energy flowing through your veins. Unlock your power, break the chains. With Annie and Kerrie on this ride, discover the universe inside. Healing words in crystal glow, guiding through the ebb and flow. Feel the love that we impart. Awaken the magic in your heart. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days. Mind, body, soul connection strong. Find your peace where you belong. Meditate, elevate, discover ways to brighten up your darkest days.
Hello, Esther.
Hello.
We've lost Kerrie.
Oh no.
She's fallen off the planet. I'm
Kerrie,
she'll
come back.
Yeah, where the heck are you, Kerrie Berry? Come back. Hello, Peter. Hello, Colleen. Hi, Veronica. You had a birthday this week. Happy birthday. Hello, Miss Anne. You've just come back from holidays, I think. I hope you had a wonderful time. I was stalking you on Facebook. Oh, hello, Gail. You're here too. Can we all send out bring back Kerrie? Kerrie, she's coming back. Hooray.
I was the one having technical
Hello.
issues.
We lost you. Where did you go?
My internet just dropped. I've got absolutely no idea. It's never happened before. So I've run out. I grabbed my phone. I better put it on silent as well. And I thought if worse comes to worse, I'll hotspot it. But that's okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, Esther. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
She's
It's
here.
technical issue night.
You have a little panic.
Nah, we'll be fine.
You would have been fine without me.
Oh, Kerrie's doing the meditation, or maybe not. Channel Kerrie.
I first noticed something wasn't right because I couldn't remove the comment. And I went, oh, what's going on there? And then all of a sudden it just went. So I don't know. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are super excited to have the beautiful Esther Jeans on with us as a guest. Esther has been part of our soul family for a couple of years now, Esther.
Yes, yeah.
And we are so excited to have her come and join us to talk about learning about your spiritual gifts, trusting your spiritual gifts, and all about her journey. So that we're really excited to have you tonight. We love it when our own come up. Yeah. So I guess you've already done all your hellos and I'm behind the times, am I?
Well, I haven't said hello to Marissa, Kelly, Sandy, and Christy.
There you go. Hello.
You weren't there. But they're here now, so yes.
Hi, Veronica. And there you go. Hi, Esther from Veronica.
Hi to everybody.
Gail's here. Sorry?
I'm so glad you're back.
Oh, look, it was just it was just like, no, worst possible timing. But anyway, I think I need
Okay.
this breath and meditation more than
Brilliant.
anyone.
Yeah. Before you go into your meditation, let's just talk about
Mhm.
today.
Yes.
Today or this weekend is a very special weekend because all the planets have aligned and they're actually forming a Merkaba up above us in the sky. And this
Super
is all
exciting.
about it's all about change, and it's all about, and I know we keep banging on about let go of what doesn't serve you anymore, but this is the final opportunity for you to, well, it's not, but it's a really good time to just stop anything that's not working for you and fix it. Chuck it away. Fear, doubt, lack of trust, anything at all that's not working. I'll probably get in trouble for this, but chuck it in the fuck it bucket.
You wait, we're going to get beep. They're going to stop the live stream.
Nah,
You think me
you
losing
know
internet?
me. It won't happen. It won't
Hi,
happen.
beautiful Christy. Sorry.
No.
We've had what's been super exciting too is we've had so many new people come and join the Soul family and really engage with Annie and I recently, and that's been lovely. And really encouraging of everyone to tap into their spiritual gifts. So I think you being with us tonight, Esther, perfect timing, really, to share your journey with everybody. Yeah, because it really is about trust, isn't it?
Oh, totally. That's the first lesson you have to learn is trust
Yeah.
what you get. Trust spirit, trust your guides.
Yeah. And the Merkaba in the sky, it is pretty exciting. New energy shift.
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, for anyone who follows Schumann resonance, you may have seen that quite often you'll get these really thick white streams coming down, so frequency hitting the earth, and the side ones going across to tell you what level then the earth is vibrating at, because it hits you every day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all day, which means huge incoming energy. And I think last fortnight when we were on, I was all excited about them shutting CERN down. So we haven't got this low energy buzz happening underneath us anymore. And now we've had this huge surge come in. So I've had people saying that they're either hyper, right? Hyperactivity, and then totally exhausted afterwards, and a few fluctuating changes. But we've got this major shift happening now. There you go, Rachel.
She's my mentor.
Oh, hello, Rachel.
Friend. Yeah.
Welcome.
We hear about you. We believe you're wonderful.
Yes, she should be on here, not me. She's an educator. So yeah.
Just get in touch with us, Rachel. We would love to have you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, well, let's just start now. This meditation tonight is I just want everyone to become very comfortable in their energy tonight. So I'm not going to take you anywhere. I'm going to take you inward. And interestingly, we had the gathering at Annie's today. And whilst we were meant to be doing her meditation or some card reading afterwards, they gave me this. So I'm hoping I can read it. Okay, so now the reason we start with this is it connects everyone's energy, it gets everyone into the right vibration and the right space so that you can really take on board and sort of sit with the energy and the information being shared. And that's why we bring everyone together with that. Okay, so I just want you to sit so that you're comfortable and your spine is straight. And when you are ready, close your eyes. Just be aware of the room that you're in and where you're sitting. Now, with each in-breath, see or feel yourself breathing in white light. And with each out breath, you're releasing any nervous energies, any toxins, anything held in your body. So breathe in the white and release the grey. Do this for a few more breaths. As you're breathing in this white light, feel it expanding within your body, moving through every part of your body, down your legs to your feet, through your stomach and lower back, expanding further across your chest, shoulders, upper back, down your arms through to your fingers. With each breath, you are filling yourself with healing and clearing white light. This white light is now moving up through your neck, filling your head, and expanding out through your crown, so it's now spilling over into your energetic field, and you are completely surrounded in a bubble of white light. Within this light, you are protected and safe. Bring your awareness to your body. Feel where any tension may still be held. And as you breathe in this white light, allow it to flow to where you may feel the tension. It's clearing and releasing you. Now in your mind's eye, just bring to mind a loved one. They could be living, they could be passed over. Just in your mind's eye, invite them to step into the white light with you. Watch them walk in and invite them to sit down. And then just start a conversation with them. Maybe they have passed over, and if they have passed, maybe there's something that was left unsaid. Or maybe there's something that they want to share with you. Whatever it is, just allow the conversation to flow, staying with the breath, staying held within this white light, and staying with the sensations in your body. Notice when they're speaking to you, what you feel in your body. Is the energy coming at you, or is it coming down through you? Notice how you see them. This is your clairvoyance. This is how you experience clairvoyance. Notice how you hear that conversation, the way you're experiencing hearing them. That is clairaudience. The way you're experiencing hearing them and what you feel in your body. Is there any emotion that's there, a sensation moving through you? That is your clairsentience. Express your love to them and your gratitude. Thank them for this experience and watch them slowly disappear. Bring your awareness fully into your body now, feeling the chair beneath you and your feet on the floor, being fully aware of the space you're in. Take a deep breath and another. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes. Now, that experience that you just all had, I think the guides wanted to share that just as an introduction to everyone to understand how they experience their own psychic abilities. And we all experience it differently, can be unique to us, but they're all relevant. I'm not sure what that humming noise is. Is it me? I don't know. I've got talking and humming in the background. I've got no idea. Sorry, guys. But that experience was just so you could feel and be comfortable. And within that light, you are protected and safe. So if it's a concern, like I don't know if I'm safe doing this or tapping in or what am I tapping into, just remember you can use that protection. And that's what they wanted to bring through to you. So I don't know, maybe in comments you might say, how did you experience that? Did you hear them? Did you see them? Did you feel it? Because the information can come through in different ways.
I've just had a chat with my brother.
Lovely.
Who's no longer with us. I contacted his wife, who is with us, the other day. Kerrie, you've seen the picture I have of my brother on the slate.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her if she would like it. I put it on her Facebook page and asked her if she would like it. So I put it into the mail last week for her. And she's not doing well at all. She's very, very sad. And they've been together since they were 14. And she's in her 60s now. So, it's a long time.
Yeah.
So, yes, I just pretty much got thanked for thinking of her and for sending her stuff. And I just got a hug, which was lovely. Thank you, Kerrie.
It's it was interesting that, that was definitely not what I'd planned for our meditation tonight. But sometimes the guides just step in and said, this is what we'd like you to do, because it will just help people connect in and understand how that connection works. And a beautiful segue into Esther sharing her journey.
It's funny because it was the last thing I wrote down. I was like, I better write all the Claires down and talk about that, but you've done it for me, so thank you. So maybe that's why, because I was like, oh, I better make sure I got the right words and that. So, but yeah, so thank you everyone for joining, and hi to you all as well. So a lot of you know my journey. So a lot of people that have come on have been on this journey with me probably for like 10 years or more. I don't know. So that's with classes anyway. So my journey started out when I was a young girl. Pretty much my father was a spiritual healer, and I grew up, and I'm Lebanese background. So it wasn't like I knew what he did growing up. We would just, it was like word of mouth. Come between 8 and 12 in the morning, and then he's off to the TAB after that if you don't make it. And people would come from all over, different backgrounds and cultures, and he had broken English, so I don't even know how it happened. But there wasn't many people like him as well. So growing up, like I'd have to open the doors, like the secretary and stuff, and it'd be like, oh, my dad helps people. That's all I knew. And there was always a bowl of water where he would do scrying, where he had his place set up, and like he put paper in it and words would come up, and I think he would tune into that. And he would use playing cards. I knew that as tarot. So, he'd muck around with us, but he didn't explain what he did. It was very secretive. It was like, why is he taking money? Should he be taking? I was very fearful, actually, and angry at a lot of clients. They were very addicted to it, and they would come daily. So it was very different. But all I know, he must have been amazing, because it was thousands of people. Like one day they were all lining out the door, right, waiting, and they just wait their turn. Everyone had to know when their turn was and go in. And he was very well known for like evil eye removal. I remember that. Okay. And I've channeled that now, and I can do that as well. So when I was growing up, my thing though was I didn't really like what he did. It was more like I had prophetic dreams. And like, for example, one day I remember like I had a dream that someone was putting a needle in my arm or something like that. And as I got out of bed, I stepped on a pin. So the way I receive messages as a medium, it's the same thing. Like, so dreams, I would now look back at, it was like my training, because they're jigsaw puzzles, right? So using symbols, we don't understand them. And we usually understand them after the fact as well. Like, you don't know. It could be like you dream of someone. Why do I dream of them? Haven't seen them. You might hear something about them the next day. And it could have been as simple as that, right? So I felt like that was my training. And then I always used to like I'd want to try and guess who was on the phone when it rang, or I'd want to, guess what the bill was going to be that my parents got, and things like that. So I could see I was practicing along the way without realizing it. So I know we're all born with intuitive abilities, and some people have we're all like can see spirit, and that when we're born, like you will notice a lot of children have that ability now because we encourage it. But with me, like a lot of people, I lost it along the way probably. So all I know is I was just having prophetic dreams, okay? And then it wasn't until my 20s, I think I'd had my son, and I picked up my first tarot deck. I was starting to get into it. My husband had a reading when I met him too. So she was like 10 years into the future, things happening with her reading. But I picked up my tarot deck, and for 10 years tried to teach myself to do that. And as everyone would know, they're very difficult to get to understand on your own. Read a lot of books. I watched shows like, John Edward. That was my, watching him that inspired me to love that kind of thing. James Van Praagh, Lisa Williams, and, I grew up on a lot of books and educated myself through that way and got into it. And then it wasn't until I think I was about 29. I don't know if you remember the show The One. It was about psychics, and they had a competition.
Yes.
Yeah. So not long after it finished, it was the first episode, and there were a few on there that were from my area as well. So I moved up to this area from Bankstown to Camden in City, which is a lot of spiritual people up this way. So I was walking past the shop in the local shopping centre, and one of the mediums that was on the show was doing classes. And that's how I found classes. I never knew there were classes before that. So I was with her for a year, just psychic, sort of like, meditation, getting to understand the whole thing, learning meditation with her. Then she moved on. I met another lady, was with her for 3 years. It was more like a bit of fun though. And then it wasn't until my father passed away in 2013. I had a reading about 2 weeks later. I just happened to go to psychic fair. They led me to a place called the Crystal Shop here, which is very popular here in Camden. And I was really sort of thinking about going there, and that's where I found my next class. And that class was circle class, and we would meet up every fortnight. And for 4 years I was there, and that's where all my mediumship developed with her. So it started off with like, you have to have the psychic abilities. So everyone that's going to become a medium has to have the psychic abilities first before you delve into the mediumship if you want to. And then through her, I learned everything I needed to know. So working on our clairs, like you've mentioned earlier, working on meeting each guide. So we have to meet our master guide, like that's a must. So we sit in meditation, and you can do that now anytime you like, where your intention is to sit and meet your master guide. So that's where I started, and then eventually it would go to like my healer guide, and I met my healer guide. And then it wasn't until actually a few years ago that I heard about the protector gatekeeper guide, which I hadn't learned at that time. Yeah, which is very important.
I love the gatekeepers.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I think it was like probably 6 years ago or something like that. But during that time, I don't think we met. I don't remember meeting him. And so she taught us, through meditation, that how to meet the guides. I learned also automatic writing. We did trance work as well. I did trance work. And she used to give us, set us homework, which was, you could do it if you wanted or not. And it was called inspirationals. And that's what she would give us a word, and you would sit and channel what the meaning of that word was. And that sort of then led, which I'll talk about in my book later, to me channeling, because I used to do it all the time and I loved that. So I was with her for about, I think, 4 years. I ended up doing mediumship demonstrations. That was my favorite thing to do. And also, right before we finished up with her, I did spiritual churches. I only did that for a couple of times, but it wasn't my thing. I'd never been to one before. So through her, I developed my mediumship, and each clair developed one at a time. It was probably like the first one was my clairvoyance seeing. And I remember to this day a soccer ball coming at my face. So the way I describe it, it's like just like you did in the meditation, I see it like a thought, like a photo, an image. When I hear them, I hear it like a thought. So, but I have to trust it's not my thought. Okay, so you've got to trust is huge in all this. And the biggest thing I learned was give it as you get it. So when you stick with the loved ones, you guys, whatever, you have to give it as you get it. And I do have to be careful. I mean, some things you got to be like, okay, I've got to like give it to it more softer than that. If it was very, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can't really just say, they did this, or, so you still got to be careful, but you still have to pass on the message the way they want you to pass on the message. And I remember them saying, like, if you're given an apple and you say orange, your guide will be like, okay, I'll give her the apple again. They're giving you the apple and you go orange, and they're like, okay, she's not listening to us. She doesn't want us. Okay, so you have to trust what they are giving you.
It can also be, and Annie, this is something Annie talks about really often, is it means something to them. It may not mean that much, but it's the signifier to them that it really is that person connecting.
Yeah.
So filtering it could actually stop that message. So it's a huge thing to trust. And sometimes even their wording of it is their personality. Because I've had people say before, oh, that's exactly what they used to say, or exactly what they said. So this filtering it can be really tricky sometimes.
Yep, exactly.
Not in my world. I have no filter.
And we love that about you, Annie.
What you're saying there, though, Esther, if I can just take you back a little step, everybody knows the clairvoyance. Like that's the one. If anybody who's in the mediumship space or any of this stuff, they all know about clairvoyance. And the interesting thing about clairvoyance and clairaudience are they're the two least used. People who have the clairvoyance and the clairaudience, they're blessed. But people who don't have these two, people who either are clairsentient or claircognizant, they're the ones I feel that really struggle, because the conception of a clairvoyant is that you see this person standing in front of you like a bloody hologram. And it doesn't work that way. And what you were saying is also really, really interesting about they might hear, but they think, oh, that was just nonsense. That was just something that popped into my head. It's got to pop into your head from somewhere. It doesn't just, but I think that's where a lot of people who are not clairvoyant or are not clairaudient get a bit stuck, because there's no way I can explain how I know what I know. I just know it.
Yeah.
And I just trust that I know it. And to get
right
to that place is really difficult.
Yeah, because it's not the only way. And that feeling side of it too, I think, well, the guides told me to bring that into it. How do you feel? Where's it coming from? Is it coming at you? Is it coming through you? Because that clairsentience, it comes in. So, I mean, for you, Annie, the knowing, claircognizance, so learning how you connect is like probably the main step, isn't it? Because that's your pivot point. Would you agree, Esther?
Yeah, and everyone, this is the thing with classes that I notice, it's like everyone has different clairs. I was able to get develop all four clairs over probably 4 years. But some people were just claircognizant, they just felt. So when we would practice reading, so we'd meet up fortnightly, and sometimes by the end of the thing we'd practice. And then people were just like, I feel this, I feel that. They weren't seeing or hearing, but that was their interpretation, and that's what they were getting. And I wish I had more knowing. Knowing is the best. It's like, you don't even think. There's no thinking. You just let it out, right? It's just, that's the best one. But the thing is trusting. So I remember when I first started, I'd give you maybe 2 or 3 things I was seeing, and that was it for the rest of the class, Yeah. And as you built it up, because, my teacher would push it, I would just practice. So practice. But you have to trust. And the best way too is like, the weirder the thing is, the weirder the word, or the weirder it's like, it's not you. Trust it the most, okay? It's like,
and then you've got to start looking words up to go, what does that even mean? Is it even a word?
Like a polly waffle, like the polly waffle chocolates.
In
a long time. To say that, and it's going to mean something to somebody. So the weirder it was, but then the way also they do it, and I call it, it's like playing charades using telepathy. That's how I describe it. So they use symbols that's in that we know of, that we've grown up with, whether it's music with me, whether it's whatever. They know what symbols to use with each person, and they'll just give me I always say, they'll give me a car, and I'll say to them telepathically, what about the car? Oh, this person just bought a car, or they're driving a red car, or they need to get a service on the. So you have to communicate constantly. And then also when you get to know your guides, you're interviewing them. And it's the same with when you have a client in front of you and spirit comes through, you have to interview them. So you start up, it's like, what's your name? They don't always give you their name, okay? So sometimes they might give me a name of a living person. But with names also with me, and everyone's different. It's like, if they gave me Bob, it would be a male Bob B sounding name. And it might not be Bob, but it'll be B sounding name. That's how I say it. But it won't be female. So for me, and then if they gave me a female name like Penelope, it will be Penelope P sounding name. Okay, female. And it could be living or past. Even though I'm saying to them, what's your name? They don't always give me their name. Okay. They also, so I'd explain also, and even to this day, I'll just explain. I've been in classes nonstop. So when it's usually the teacher leaves me, I stick. Like my mentor, she would praise, Esther, what else can I teach you? And I'm like, we're doing a refresh on mediumship, like advanced mediumship. And it's good for me because I'm always learning. It's good to have a mentor or be in classes and have that support, because I didn't ever have that support from family and, that kind of thing. So
Rachel, you're very important. If Rachel's
yes,
still in
something
chat,
with
you're very important.
I met her in circle class towards the end, and then she was already I didn't know she was already an educator online, and met and then someone got me onto on her online classes. I was not technical, I wasn't going to do it, and been with her ever since. I think 10 years. She's had academies, she's done it all. And when you're going to bring her on, and she's going to explain her story, but I've been in classes, so I'm talking on her. I'm doing what you did to me the other week.
I know. I'm just thinking, poor Rachel. She's got no idea.
No, she loves,
you know.
Here's her 2 minutes, and we've kidnapped her already.
Yeah.
Like she's an educator, and she'll explain everything much better than I would. So but the way when I'm doing a reading also, it's like you have to obviously sit in an opening prayer. I would have my protector guide locked in behind me, and I'm learning to put my guide to my right, because sometimes I don't even know who's talking to me. So I'm learning to, like, this is 15 or so years later, I'm probably more than that I've been doing this, and I'm still learning, like, who's talking to me now, you know. But I put them in, and then I have the like, say you're in front of me, your guides and your loved ones are behind you, and I might have your loved ones behind a curtain. I picture them like in a line, and I'll say to them, please come in an orderly fashion, but they never do. Okay. And so what I do when I do tune in, I do the opening prayer, like everyone has their own, you know, and open up and everything like that. And then once I've with the client, I'll tune in, and you look at the wall. The best thing is to look in front of you at a wall. You never look directly at the client, okay? Because that's going in more psychically. So when I open up, like when you would pray open up, you expand and pray heart to heart with psychic. But with mediumship, you're expanding your aura all around the person, all around the room as far as you can, okay? You're trying to get them all in there. And then you would look at the wall, and you would try, and you're sort of drawn. It's like a magnet almost, where you're drawn to certain areas of the room. So I might bring in 5 people for a client, and before I start, I'll be like, okay, there's a couple up here, and then I might be pulled to the side. I'm like, okay, that's usually someone to your side or your age kind of thing. Usually to my right is someone that's taken their life, I notice, but everyone finds their way. And the way it comes up, it's like an outline, you know, just an outline I get at first. And then they might show me like a quick glimpse of their hair. It might be up, or it might be wavy, and I might feel it's light, or I might feel it's dark. A female, and, you know, they'll tell me grandmother and things like that. So you always, when I do try to bring them through, they'll all jump in on top of each other. So I might get grandmother saying something, and then this one tells me their age, and this one tells me how they pass, and I have to make them like step back and let one come through. And it's usually I'll ask for the strongest, either communicator or who you're hoping to connect with. So the client should always be prepared not to always hear from who they really want to hear. Sometimes, even if they haven't been there that long, like say your grandfather's been there for a long time, he will, let me open the door to him, let me bring him through, don't dismiss him. But then he may bring the person that you're waiting to hear from, because they're trying to understand this, how to connect as well. Yeah. So usually the strongest communicator will come
Can I
through.
just ask you a question about that, Esther? Because I certainly don't say I'm a medium. Quite often when I'm doing a psychic reading, and I know this is similar, I think, for you, Annie, as well, someone's loved one may just step in. I'm open to listen to them and bring that message through, just as I would listen to my guides to bring through the psychic messaging. So I don't really treat it too much differently. But my guide sort of explained it to me that, you know, mediums do have a hard gig, because it may not be the person that they really want to speak to that's coming through. You know, you'll always have loved ones in spirit that do want to connect, and they can share information about how that loved one's going, or you know, where they are in their next part of their journey back in spirit realm. But what they explained to me is it's no different to here. You know, that if they're busy, if they're in the halls of healing, or they're in the halls of learning, or they're on a mission to go and help, you know, from a spiritual sense, they've been given another purpose that they're fulfilling. They may not always be available just to step in. So it's no different to your loved ones when they're here. You ring them, but they don't answer, and they'll ring back when they're ready. So my guides told me I just need to be more open for my own loved ones jumping in to communicate, so that when they are there, I'm open and ready to recognize and receive that energy to open the communication more than the other way around. So how do you sort of explain, if that's your experience, because it could be different, how do you then explain that to the clients?
Well, before I start a reading, I'll explain how I work, and I'll say to them, because a lot of the times also someone will come through that they don't even know, and they will use that person to get to like a friend to pass a message on. It happens every reading. So I have to make them open to, I'll say that to them, be open to who's coming through. I can't promise, I'll connect with who you want. I usually will try to in a way, somehow they will come through. But if they've just passed away, you don't want a client to have a reading for at least a year because they're going through that grieving, okay? And they're not ready to receive the information, like the guidance or the information. And it's guidance, by the way. They've got free will as well. But it's also, for example, if my father were to come through and he was bad at saving money and finances, well, and he's giving me financial advice, well, that's just his opinion still. He's still bad, you know what I mean? So I want to ask someone else to give me that guidance or relationship guidance, you know what I mean? So, but if they've just passed over, then they have to go through their healing on the other side, and they're not ready to because they've still got that half human sort of aspect to them as well. So you want the client to be ready, and you also want the spirit to be ready. But also, I find the best communicators usually are the ones who come through. But a grandfather might be there, but once I acknowledge him, he doesn't say anything to me. He'll bring the next person through. But when you do a reading, I always bring evidence. So I'll say, this is their name, this is how they passed, this is how many children did you have, were you married, did you have any hobbies? I'll ask those questions in my head. They don't always listen. They might just throw whatever they want at me. But I usually feel how they passed. So if I get breathing issues, I know it's lung related, and then I might hear cancer. So it's usually a feeling with me first, and then I'll hear what it is. So once I bring them through, you always have to then give the message to your client. You don't just bring them through and then move on to the next. So they'll always have a message, and then I'll move on to the next one. But with suicides, I find, or it could be just they've taken their own life in, whether it's accidental or whatever, I find they're very quiet. They will not tell you how they passed until they sort of build that trust or something like that. But it's almost for me, and if everyone else, it might be different. It's it's not a shameful thing, but it's more they're hesitant and they won't really speak up, and then I'll know straight away. And usually they come tomorrow and I'm I think someone's passed, by their own hand. And usually half the time, it's not that they wanted to pass either. It's more the pain here was worse than living, or they had mental issues, or medicated, or you know what I mean, or they accidentally overdosed. So a lot of the times people don't know how they passed, but a lot of it is either accidental or they couldn't control their mental aspect. It's not like anyone wants to pass on purpose. Okay, it's more the pain was too much or it was accidental, in a way. But I always know they will step back and they don't really like to go. They might give me how they passed or something, but you've got to be careful to how you present it to your client. But then as soon as you do all that and you acknowledge them, they start talking. They will start talking and come through. I
had a lady come to see me. She was a mess, an absolute sobbing mess. And I had my cards, and nothing was coming. I had nothing. And I said to her, this is so not working for me. Why are you here? And she said, bereavement. And the next thing I know, I've got this guy's name. And he said, I'm here. Now, this man had been gone for 4 days. 4 days. And it was as clear, it was as clear as a bell. He just slammed me. And I gave her all this information that he was telling her. the saddest thing about this was 2 days after he passed, she discovered she was pregnant. So no wonder she was an absolute mess, like the
Yeah.
3 week thing was just distraught. But I don't consciously do it. If they've got something to say, and I said to his wife, I said, he must have been really desperate to get to you. Like I was here and obviously he thought, oh, here's somebody that I can just bother. And I said to her that he must have been really desperate to give you this message.
Yeah.
He must really, really wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Now, when it happens to me, that's how it happens. Kerrie talks about her guides are like mediators. So she gets the messages sent through to her from her guides, maybe from the person who's passed. Do you get it direct from the person who's passed, or do your guides? Yeah, 'Cause that's
Both.
the way it happened
It
to
can
me.
be both. Like the guides are orchestrating and bringing everyone through as well. But I have brought through, someone that's passed the day before, but not knowing, like, people book you in and they're not going to know someone's going to pass the day before. And then there's their reading as well. But if you were to have that conversation, you would say to them, wait. But yes, they do come in. I'm not saying they don't come in. It's just best for the client to wait.
And for them.
Grieve.
But
Yeah.
sometimes that grief, and it'd be interesting to see if you've had anyone come through in spirit when it was in that short time period, that they're fine, they know they're okay, and that they still exist, for want of a better word, right? But they're still connected into the energy of those that are sad and grieving for them, so they want to make sure they're okay. So that first couple of days before their guides, angels, loved ones in spirit sort of say, okay, come with us now, because we're going to release a few things that they definitely could be around during that very early period. But it's not the optimum time, I would think, to communicate for that exact reason. You don't want to be holding them here,
It's also like the first few days, few weeks, they are around as well because everyone's grieving. And they will slowly start to step back and, they've got to do their own healing journey and stuff like that as well. But some people, like, I find say someone was passing from an illness, a long illness, and you sort of, in a way, like, they're going, you're ready. You're not ready, but you know what I mean? Like, that's different. People are more accepting of receiving a message from them because they've let go. They've probably let go a while before, even though it's still heartbreaking. But I have had, the day before someone come through, that passed away, they can do that. I'm not saying they can't. It's just that if for a client, if they're going through that grief, they're just not going to hear the guidance. They're not going to hear the message. But when you do bring them through, like Annie, if they do come, I would just say, have that conversation like you would your guides and say, okay, give me evidence. I want proof, because you want to prove to your client who you've got as well. And of course, like, you can give a name, but you don't know who's giving you that name. So to know that you are speaking with the spirit, ask them, get a bit of evidence from them, like, were you married, how many children? Ask those questions like you're interviewing anybody. It's like an interview. And then you can say, and then when they can relay, you're like, I've got them there. So you know what I mean? So that's how you prove that you know that you've got the spirit and not your guide talking to you as well. But the guides might be helping them come through just for that healing, because with readings,
you really needed it.
Yeah, it's about
at one point, I just reached over and I ran the back of my finger down the side of her cheek, and that broke her, because
because he did that.
That's what he used to do to put her to sleep at night time,
Yeah.
And there was no doubt that this man was just desperate to calm her down. And the other thing, she hadn't told me she was pregnant, and he knew about the baby. And like the poor wee thing, she was just, and like I was crying, she was crying, And
the personality is still there, They come in with their personality, the way you remembered them. So if they were a quiet, spoken, shy person, the ones that are like me, talkative, I'm gonna like come in louder than if me and my sister were there. It's like I'm gonna come in before her because she's more. No, I'm not gonna do that kind of stuff.
And then for the medium side of that, you're going, slow down. I'm trying to hear you. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to put it together.
And the way a lot of mediums, you will notice they talk really, really quick because we're getting it really, really quick. Okay. And I always say, like, I don't like to be fed too much. So I always say, please give me yes and no answers. And then when I need them to elaborate, they elaborate so that they're not feeding me. You don't want to know anything. Like, I like to go in blank canvas. I don't like to read friends. If you've read someone before, like, even if I'll go back to, if I have clients that come in regularly, I'll be like, if it's psychic, I'll say, wait at least 6 months. At least 6 months till your next reading. Like, earliest would be 3, but you have to wait for things to happen before you have another reading. Mediumship, once a year, if you know, every 2 years. Like, don't keep going and don't go hopping from one to the next just to hear what you want to hear. I always say to people, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Okay. And that's because that's the message that, can you hear us, Kerrie?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Video is definitely, there must be something. I've got a lot of wind here tonight, and I think that's probably interfering a bit. I might turn my camera off.
That's okay.
Yes,
so just making sure. Yeah, so it's just like you have to be ethical. You have to make sure they're not addicted to readings, because you got to live your life. They want you to live your life, so you need to move on, and it's all guidance. I always say it's all guidance. You always have free will. And even if health issues come through, I'll put a disclaimer, like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a whatever, but, please see this person, please see that. You have to be ethical. That's the biggest thing I've learned in all this, is to be ethical. So don't keep doing readings just for the money. Like, come next month or come next week. No. I also do healings. I do angelic healings, which is similar to Reiki. It's like hand-on healings. They're those kind of things you can do more often. That's a different modality. Okay. Yeah. But with mediumship, once a year, and and don't come in like, hopefully you do connect with who you want to, but know that they are always around. They always leave you signs, as well. So you can, my dad's is 911, his birthday, which my son had picked up a month later, and we never celebrated his birthday. So I think that's why he gives us 911 11th of September. I get that a lot. His name or things like that. So ask for sign, and they will give it to you as well. And just and say thank you when you do, because then they'll give you more. Acknowledge it.
I tell people 6 months as well. And if they phone me up, I'll say, because I give them homework. I send them off to do their homework. And if they phone me up, like 2 weeks later, I'll say, no, have you done your homework? Well, no, I haven't. Well, you're not coming. 6 months,
Yeah.
There's I have some clients that I need to be really, really strong with, because some of my clients, my Indian ladies, they have like people that they go to in their own country. And when they find somebody, every single bloody decision that they have to make, they want somebody to tell them. And I keep
that was my dad.
Oh my stars. It's
daily.
Yeah, it would be every couple of weeks, and no, go away, sure. You're going to get the same reading that you got the last time. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. But they also have the free will too. So it's not like I might say go right and they're going to go left. That's their free will. But we're here to learn. We're here to learn, and that's what everything's why we're here in the first place. So they're still going to get to their destination, but we always have to say, look, this is guidance. And some things are set in stone, there's like, it might be a wedding or whatever, but majority you have free will. And I always tell the client that. But yeah, with my dad, they always were like daily calling him. There was a whole family, and I don't know if my sister's on here, but I used to like tell them off on the phone and hang up, things like that, because they caused a lot of issues with my parents. So I pretty much hated it, because it's like they couldn't make their next move without him. And do you know what I mean? And they were like befriending him and, things like that, just to, and they couldn't move on. They, like, every guidance he gave, and they probably took, I think, so, so, and also the way mediumship works too, it's like the reading is as good as like the three of us. So it's like spirit, I'm the vessel. So I'm just like the messenger. I call myself, right? So I'm just like, a translator as well. And then the client. So if the client's sitting back like, I'm not going to give you nothing, and they're just sitting like this, some clients you're going to have to say, look, I've got to end it, because they're sort of testing you. You can tell some are there to test you as well. And you're there to help them. So you've got to be like really like for the reading to be really great, the three of you have to work together. And if they don't know something, like I'm a bad sitter myself. It's like I don't know family because they're all overseas and how they passed, and my mum just says everyone died, So for me, I have to then go, I'll say, do your homework. Like I'll leave that with you, move on to the next thing and do your homework, and it's up to them. And I never get feedback. So you've also got to know that when you're doing this work, you're not always going to get someone come back and say, oh, by the way, you're right about this, 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 and this. You're going to walk away and go, oh, that was a bad reading sometimes, but then you've got to put ego aside and say, it's not about me, it's about spirit and connecting and healing. So, yeah. So I don't know if you wanted to can ask me any more questions on mediumship or...
So, Esther, when did you first start reading, I'd call it professionally? So I know we practice, obviously, along the way.
Yeah.
But and explain the process you went through to say, yeah, I really trust my gifts now and I'm ready to open this up and know that I can actually really assist people.
Yeah, well, probably like 10 years ago. But with me, I always had this issue accepting money from people for the readings. That was my biggest block, was accepting. So I would meet people and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing? I tell them, they're like, I'm on a reading, and I would turn around at the last minute and go, I'll do it for free. That was a big block for me to accept money, because people are always saying to you, oh, you have this gift, you should do it for free. Like, I've been training for 15 years, but everyone around me would be like, well, if you got it, people just expect you to say it straight away. Like as soon as you meet them, if you tell them what you do, oh, have you got a message for me? Can you tell me something? Like you would know, right? So with me, it was a big block. I also feel like with my dad, because it was secretive, I used to get scared when he was taking the cash, money from people. Like, why is he going to get in trouble? Like it was always hush, hush. So that was a big block for me. But I tried 10 years ago, I was started doing parties because I really love mediumship platform, like demonstrations. And I started doing parties. So I started off with just donations at first, like you can donate whatever you want. And then I built it up to $20, and then it was like $50 for a while. And I think it was, I had Peter as a mentor, and I think he was the one right before COVID. I had him as a mentor and I had Rachel as a mentor. And he was the one that was like, Esther, you need to learn technology, right? You need to learn Zoom. You need to learn, I didn't know banking. I didn't know how to take, what do you call it? Appointments, things like that. And then he gave me he allowed me to read for the class because there was a conference coming up I wasn't going to. And he allowed me to read for the class and charge him $50. Like I said, 20, he said 50, to be able to go to this conference as well. But through that, I ended up learning how to do Zoom. I was able to do readings all over Australia. I have, one in Denmark, and I've had another one in Dubai. So through that platform, I've now been able to do readings via Zoom. So it's probably more the last 5 years I started properly charging. I'm still not great at the business side of things. And promoting myself. So that's a big thing for me.
That's the story of our life, Esther. We both started by donation. Story of our life.
Yeah.
We both started by donation. And then I was running classes and it was $20. And if people didn't have any money, it didn't matter. I felt if they wanted to come, they needed to be there.
Yeah.
And it was explained to me that this is an energy exchange.
Yes. So, that's how it was to me.
Yeah, it's a gift, and you don't get you're working, and you wouldn't work for nothing. So you're a real woman. And Kerrie and I are hopeless, absolutely hopeless at promoting ourselves.
That's not just me.
The thing about this is we do this from our hearts with love.
Yes,
and we do it to help people.
Yes,
and people come and I know they've got no money, and I'll say it's okay, and they say no, and I'll say it's okay. So shoot.
Yeah.
But at some point, you've got to, if you don't value yourself, nobody will
That's it.
value your work. So
But yeah, but it's also
And
the
that-
energy. Like even for me to have a reading, it takes me an hour to prepare. Right, I've got to do the meditation. I've got to sit and bring my guides in. I've got to do like the whole thing.
Mhm.
Then my readings go. I usually like to do. It's called hybrid readings, where I do mediumship. Then I go into psychic, and then I go into questions, and then I might pull cards at the end. And it can go sometimes over now. Like I try to stick to the hour, but it takes a lot. It's a different energy. So psychic is very light. Mediumship can drain you. It sucks the life out. You're feeling all their symptoms, things like that. A lot of mediums get sick as well. But I've also been training in the last 15 years, and I'm still doing it just like a hairdresser would, just like any other occupation. Like, to be good at what I'm doing, I have to, for me, I did courses, and it's not about the money for us. Like, I wish I could just do it for free. You know what I mean? And I feel like I get out of my own way a lot better when it's in that way, But yeah, I had to learn to put my prices up. And it's usually someone pushing me, like a mentor would say, "No, put your prices up. No, you've got to charge. No, you've got to do this," So that was the hard part. But yeah, so I now do it I did it via Zoom for a while until Zoom changed their prices, and now I do it via Messenger. I get them to connect to me on Messenger, and I do it via FaceTime, and that helped with COVID as well, because obviously we couldn't get people in. And then during COVID, we got a puppy, and now he's an I sort of for a long time didn't bring people back into my home. I used to do it from home, but he's an indoor cavoodle, and I started letting open that back up just a few months ago, maybe a year ago. And now everyone wants to come in person, because they feel like in person, they feel like it's different. How can you read over online? People don't understand. It's just energy, just like you ladies would do, when you do psychic readings on here. People don't understand that it's the same thing, and it's actually better for me to do it online, because I'm not distracted by your reaction as well. I'm not really looking at you. I'm looking behind you.
Yeah. It's the energy connection. So I think we talked about that last fortnight. Everything is energy, and it is an energetic connection. So you can do it online, and that's why it still works 100%.
And John Edward on the radio, how does he do it? People sometimes want that personal reading as well. So as soon as I open that back up, I've had more readings in person, but it's the dog that he just is jumping up. So, and I can't, anyway, there's a whole thing with him, but I do both online and in person. But yeah, that's my biggest hurdle was charging, because it was you start charging, and then you get people going, "Oh, but it's a gift." But we're all born with it.
But people can be really talented in all sorts of things, really talented scientists, really talented, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that then they are devaluing that. But because it is a service, right, and because it is about that connection and helping people, it doesn't feel money related, but it needs to be. Is that a good moment? Should I actually do this? We never do this. You can support our work. You can't see me right now. I'm actually laughing behind you. You can support our work and help with our StreamYard costs by buying us a coffee. These donations do go purely towards paying for StreamYard costs, because it's getting more and more expensive every year, and we truly appreciate it if you can do it, but we don't expect it. We just love spending time with you.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because you guys, the energy exchange has to be, both ways. Otherwise, it's sucking the life out of you, constantly doing for free. And that's the other thing with mediumship. People like when you start out, I used to practice on hairdressers and beauticians. You want to practice on people you don't know. And friends, I found they didn't value you when right? They always wanted it free, and then as soon as you start charging, they disappear. They don't ask you anymore. That kind of thing. But yeah, you have to value yourself. It's just like any other career. It's a full-time job for us. You know what I mean? It takes a lot out of us, and mediumship is a lot more as well. Mediumship platforms, even you can be zapped the next day. So you've got to learn to retain your energy, protect yourself. You really got to protect yourself before a reading. And not be open every time you're, you have to also have permission as well, I would say too. So if someone's next to you and you get a message, you can't just say, "Hi, I'm a medium. Here's a message for you." You have to have their permission, because one, they might not want a message. Two, they're not ready for a message. So you can't just bombard anybody. You always have to ask their permission first and foremost. But I try, like early on, you would practice and stuff like that. But now I know, like, if I'm talking to someone and usually their opening is, they'll say to me, oh, what do you do? And I say, I'm a psychic medium. As soon as I say that, it's like spirit's like, oh, she's open. And they start like, I suddenly can't breathe and I can feel the spirit. And then I'm like, hang on, I have to, send this away, because I get a lot of dementia too. Like that was one of the first things I started getting. I don't know if I mentioned, I went through breast cancer. So for 2 years, I sort of didn't do any readings during that time. And when I went back into it, the first reading I did, I was going blank. Okay, so people with dementia can, whether they're living or past, can come through. Someone that's in a coma can come through, because they're like 1 foot in this world, 1 foot in that world. So that's sort of my big calling card. So I'll suddenly be talking to you and I'll just go blank. And the way I explain it, it's like I'll look around and there are no words in my memory. There's no words. And it's like we would normally say, if we forget something, like, oh, what was I just saying? You'd say that in your head. What was I just saying? What was I just thinking? But when it's someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, there's no thoughts, there's no words, it's blank. So that's why they're like looking like blankly around, because there's nothing. It's an empty space. So that became, when I got back into after my breast cancer in 2019, I went through that. I sort of didn't do much other than classes for 2 years. And then I went and I did a platform with Rachel would probably remember this. And I remember going, the first person I brought through, I suddenly was sort of bringing all this evidence through, and then I went blank. And I didn't know why, because it was the first time dementia had come through. But now nearly every reading that happens. And then if I'm just happen to be talking to someone, out in the shops, they can come through, but I have to learn to say, no, step back. Okay, you don't bring them in just because they're there. That will zap my energy. So you have to learn to like I'll stop and say, hang on, give me a sec, and I'll be like telling them telepathically, step back, I'm not open, I'm not giving a reading, so they don't bombard you all the time. Because if you constantly give it every time you get it, it's going to make you ill, like your body's going to just down.
So if anyone wanted to reach out to you after seeing this, Esther, and book a reading with you, how's the best way to contact you, lovely?
Yep. Okay. So I'm not the best at all this, but I always say, like, if you can go to Messenger, requested a chat in there, but otherwise go to Esther Jeans 70 on my Insta, and you can go to Linktree. I didn't talk about my book. I don't know if you wanted to. I wrote a book as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's all channeled. But if you go to either Instagram, Esther Jeans 70, or Facebook, Esther Jeans Psychic Medium, go into my profile, go into Linktree, like you'll be able to, my book is on Amazon. You can like just request a chat, but if you can go straight to Messenger, that would be the best way, because I usually go, if I'm doing it via FaceTime, I usually go into that and do it through there. Or I live in Sydney in the Camden area if they wanted it in person as well. But all my information, if you pretty much in the Instagram and on my business profile page and Facebook, Esther Jean Psychic Medium, will tell you all my prices and links to that. So, yeah, and I was going to talk about my book, but I don't know if I have time.
No, talk about your book.
Look, tell us about your book, but you're also welcome to come back and join us anytime, and we can talk about the channeling of your book, because that's also another really interesting topic.
Yeah, so you both ladies know the story with that, and you both used to give me readings and say, Esther, you've got your book there, you've got your book, it's already written. So this is actually my second book that I did first. It was supposed to be my memoir. I started before my dad passed away. And then after he passed away, I couldn't get back into it. And then I had a reading with Peter, and he was like, you haven't grieved your dad. You need to do your second book first and then go back to the first one. So I was told to do it this way. I already had hundreds of these. I call them inspirationals or channel messages, poems. And I did a lot while I was going through my cancer journey. And then when you guys were giving me a reading, it was like what I ended up doing. When I finally sent it to the editor, she said, you have 2 to 3 books in here, because I had part memoir, part this throughout the book, and then part like how to do psychic and, so she had to pull it apart, and we decided to work on this book. So this is all my channeled messages and then the guidance from the angels, that like an oracle card deck. So you would open up at a random page, and that's the channeled poem I did with spirit. So it's all come through me, and then that's the message like you would get in the card, to give you guidance. So
it's a beautiful book.
Called Angel Whispers.
I remember when you said you finally put one of them out, we were jumping up and down, weren't we, Annie? We're like, yay!
Well, when you send it to the editor, it's the worst, because I was like, I knew, because I was having trouble, and I think even Nate, he had my book, and I was like, well, like, I think it's part 1, part 2, part 3, but it was actually 3 books.
Yeah.
So that's why I was very confused, because I was still going back to my memoir. And so with I didn't even know when she ended up helping me. So I was lucky. I met her through Peter. She was teaching us some writing classes, and she ended up not only, like, I don't know if she still will do it for anybody else, but she not only edited my book, but she formatted it. She put it on Amazon. She did the Canva things and all that stuff. So she did the whole thing, because I was not technical at all. So so that's how I got it.
Because that's a hard bit. Like sometimes, particularly channeled messages, you're not changing what you get,
Oh,
like
she did change it. That was the hard part. It was like fighting. I was fighting at first, because like there's some in here, like there's one, I think it was More Than Enough or whatever. It's very small in here, right? But it's actually this one. So you can see how much, like, it's just a little bit there. It's actually like it went really like all the way down here. And what it was we ended up, she ended up, like, some of my, because I had hundreds of these. So what we did, we found somewhere like in first person or whatever. I think that's how she said it. Somewhere from my angels and somewhere from my dad. Okay. Yeah. And then the way we did it is like we went to, is how you say it, first person? Yeah, that was Evie Pinsley. So these ones are all like they sound like they're coming from me, not from my dad and not from my guides. And that's how we picked these 22 of these and wrote the messages. But that was the hard part, was like she wanted to put punctuation in, and I was like, but no, they're channeled. She's spiritual too, spiritual. Like, they're channeled. And then she wanted to cut some things out, and I'm like, no, but it's channeled. Like, and then I finally had to just let go and trust her. And she was like, we have to do this like as if a publisher was going to pick it up. We have to edit it properly. So I think she did finally not put in all the because I had no commas or anything like that. But she did cut some, because what they did was, it's like I'd start off like down, but then the other part would be uplifting. And because of it was uplifting and the message was uplifting, we had to cut the uplifting part out and leave the message as it was on the right hand
and
side.
Sometimes that's right. It's the reader and who the receiver is going to be, whereas some of that channeled messaging can be purely for you, really, like as part of your journey. And that's a hard slog. But honestly, the Canva stuff and the publishing like that's the drain.
Yeah. And it was all last minute, the Canvas stuff. She ended up doing all that. That's why it's not so like I really like, I want to get cards out, and I really, to get an illustrator, I wanted them a certain way, very angelic and beautiful and whatever. I didn't want to go through Canva with that or anything like that. And she wouldn't let me do AI either. So that's why it's taken me a long time. I was supposed to do the cards straight after, but I haven't done that yet. But that's all through Canva. And I was just like, I just wanted it out by then. I was just like, yep, that's fine. Pick that color, put that background. And then she did the whole thing. And when she published it, I didn't realize she published it. And had to sort a few things out and then republish it as well. If it wasn't for her, there would be no book. I wouldn't have known.
Look, we were grateful. We were grateful she went ahead and published, because we go, finally, we're going to get a new message and not sound like a broken record every time we do a live reading for Esther.
Yeah. Imagine all the classmates that are in here that have been saying this back in 2012 or 13 or whatever. I was like, I'm writing a book. Everyone knew there was a book coming. Yeah. But when this came out, they all thought it was the memoir. So I think a lot of people were shocked it wasn't the memoir. But the memoir was coming. I was trying to write
divine timing, it's all divine timing.
I'm back to the memoir, but it's a journey, you would know. And congratulations to you too, Kerrie, on your books. Now it's Annie's turn. Now it's Annie's turn.
Well, I did say to Annie, you know, like I've been lucky. One was like obviously the channeled messages. The children's story was also channeled. The retreat was the story of the retreat. You know, I was really like the characters were already there because they're real people. The things that happened were real experiences that we had during that retreat. So it almost wrote itself. But it was just making sure that it actually captured everything the way it needed to in honor of how very incredible those moments were. But yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
But it's so good to have it out there. And I've got it in Harry Hartog, by the way, in Narelle. And it's on Amazon if they wanted to find it. So Angel Whispers by Esther Jeans, if they want to look that up. And I also, if anyone wanted to, I also, if people want to buy it off me, they can for like $45, including postage and handling. But I also will do like a full-page channeled message. That's what I do, like at my book signings and that. But I'll do a full-page channeled message just for you. So they just need to contact me, and that's like $45 if they want that, and I'll post it to them anywhere in Australia.
That's awesome, Esther. So we have put the details up in the chat, but if you've missed those or they're not coming up, sometimes YouTube chat sometimes disappears for the lovely people like Joanne here. Hi, Joanne. Welcome. We're also in Australia.
Can someone put it up there? I think it's up there.
Yeah. If it disappears or you're wanting to find out more, let me know. Reach out to us. And we can share that.
Esther Jeans is in lower cap for the Insta too. So
sorry, lovely.
It's like one word, Esther Jeans.
One word.
I'm not very technical, so I hope that's but it's like I'm trying to get people like from Facebook. I'm like, can you just contact me on Messenger, just request a chat, and like this is my Esther Jeans. And but I realized the other day, I think Insta I can do FaceTime on there if they contact me on Insta, which I just learned.
And Esther, we'll have to get you back again because there's so much more. I mean, it was just wonderful hearing your story tonight, but there's so much more we could explore with you and talk more about those books. So we'd love to have you back again.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're very appreciative of your time and your willingness to come on and share with us. Thank you. You have been part of our soul family for a few years now. So, and we've hinted a few times, Esther, you might need to come on live with us. You might need to come on as a guest. So it was wonderful. I threw you under the bus last fortnight.
I know. It was like, and I was like, oh, did they ask me? I don't know if they did ask me. Like, I was sort of, I think I am on, but I don't know if I am on. But it was fun. I always laugh with you ladies. You make me laugh, and very genuine and down to earth. I don't follow just anybody. Like, it's very rare to follow any psychic. You have to be up there for me, as well. But you're very genuine, very giving, and like you do this in your own free time. You don't charge other than for a coffee. And you're teaching the whole community and bringing a community together as well that we wouldn't have met otherwise, So I know I met through Nate, and a lot of us did that. But Gail was the one that introduced Nate to us in the first place, so we thank Gail for that. So Gail knows that.
So that's awesome. Oh, look, you've got lots of hearts. I know you can't see the chat properly.
Yeah, I can see a little bit.
So you've got lots of hearts, lots of congratulations. Everyone's loving seeing you on here.
Yeah, and it's from 2013.
And it's just wonderful because it is a very for anyone who's just joining us new, everyone is really supportive of each other in chat and does connect in the chat as well. And we love that about this community. Is seeing that connection with everybody else. Now, Annie, I suppose we should do a collective reading. I've just got one slight problem. I can't turn my camera. I can't turn my camera back on.
You can still read.
So I might just have to describe what I'm.
Like it's guidance.
Let me start then.
Go for it.
Because we had Esther on today. I've got two. The first one, I'm doing the Spirit Messages Oracle cards. Because obviously our guides have got something to say. And this one says, Keep moving forward, even if you're unsure of your next step or where it may take you. Trust that you're walking the path you are meant to walk. Remember, we are walking it with you. Trust yourself more. So there you go, bossy boots, guys.
Thank you.
And this one,
Well,
hold on,
yep.
Kerrie, I've got one
Go,
more.
go.
Whatever you have been putting off, Esther, don't procrastinate any longer. Tackle that long overdue project. You will feel better once you begin. Start with one thing at a time. Thoughts and ideas not acted on are just lying in wait. You can do this.
Thank you. Another kick up. I call it kick up the butt readings. Come on, get to it. Because I've got like 3 different projects. I'm like, yeah, and I start one and then I'm starting another. And
That's
Thank
all
you.
faffing around.
Okay,
Because
so
it all comes together eventually.
that's
yeah,
right. Okay, so I'm actually using, not that you can see, but I'm using Heart and Soul Oracle tonight, which was interesting when you said you're using Oracle, Annie, because that's where my guides took me as well. I had to pull the box out from under the bottom. And the cards that have come out are very much for Esther, a bit of a thank you, but also for everybody in the collective as well. So the first card that came out, and I wish I could show you because it's really pretty. I might take photos of them and put it in the chat group later. It says, tune into the subtle and divine force within you. You shall sense the subtle and divine force within yourself and all living things. Over the coming days, there is going to be a heightened sense of spiritual connection. Interesting. So that little exercise they gave us earlier tonight, go back and redo it in the silence. I think Veronica said before she's going to do it when she can sit for longer in the silence. Please do that because it feels like that's what they're bringing through. And listening to Esther's journey and trusting your spiritual gifts, it's really about that because it's about connecting within and trusting what you're receiving, feeling, hearing, seeing, getting, knowing, and learning how that comes through for you. And the other card was be bold and strong, for you are the creator of your own destiny. Look within, you'll find everything you need there. Burst forth from your cocoon now and fly. The sky is the limit if you follow your heart and your inner guidance. Listen to what others say, but don't blindly follow their advice. Look within. There you go.
Beautiful. Well, Miss Esther, thank you so much for being on with us tonight. It was wonderful.
I am blowing you kisses. You just can't see me. So
I can telepathically.
And Rachel Grace, we're coming for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Next.
Our next fortnight, our next show is a reading show. So there will be Kerrie, me, and AJ on our next one. Come with questions. Come with questions. It makes life much easier and you'll get a much better reading if you have a question that you need the answer to or you want some guidance on.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have you back another day, Miss Esther, if you would like.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is glorious. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kerrie Berry, can you put our final?
Certainly can. Have a wonderful fortnight, everybody. Thank you again, Esther. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, beautiful community joining us again tonight. And we will see you in a fortnight's time, or maybe I won't. You'll just see my camera and my avatar. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Annie whispers secrets in the night, mystical visions taking flight. Kerrie's got that angel glow so bright, gliding through the dark to the light. Tarot cards spread on the cosmic rug, healing power the stars above. Mind, body, spirit, soul, we rise. Angel feathers falling from the sky. Psychic waves in a gentle tide. Let the universe be our guide. Sound healing echoes through the air. Lifted hearts with a tender care. Spiritual journeys we embark. Lighting flames within the dark. Messages from angels clear and true. Whispering